You're listening to the Purposefully Profitable Podcast. If you are between the ages of 5 and 75, male or female, living in the city or the country, introvert or extrovert, entrepreneur or executive, this podcast is for you. The perfect person for this podcast dreams big, craves autonomy, is self-motivated, meaning-driven, and mission-oriented. He or she is creative with either art, science, or something in between, and is determined to succeed. This podcast is for the person that forces fear to fail by faithfully forging forward towards financial freedom. Whether your small business is new or existing, micro, meso, macro, or mega, stalled, stagnant, just surviving, or gloriously thriving, there will be a money message for you. Subscribe now so that you will not miss a single episode. It's Words of Wisdom Wednesday on the Purposefully Profitable Podcast, and I'm your host, the Profitability Professor, Russ Barnes, CEO and founder of Systro, organization strategist for small business, where we have a single focus, providing the principles that prepare you to be profitable and prosperous. Today's words of wisdom come from Albert Einstein. Try not to become a man of success, but rather try to become a man of value. A person with $1 million is not a millionaire, because once that money is spent, there isn't any more. How many lottery winners have we heard about who ended up worse after winning a large sum of money than they were before they won? A millionaire is someone who has developed a personal value of $1 million and can use it to deliver $1 million or more of pain relief to someone who will pay for the solution. A millionaire can lose every dime, and by continuing to deliver value to customers at a high level, will only require a measure of time before the bank account is filled again. The money mindset model that we described on Monday indicated that your personal value determines your financial future. Working through the financial freedom formula, we found that it is your skills, talents, abilities, knowledge, and experiences that equal your value. We chose to tie our personal value to a measure grounded on our desired lifestyle, which enabled us to move our focus away from short-term earnings to a vision of financial freedom based on how well we relieve someone's pain in such a way that they are pleased to compensate us for the service. When we put our effort into being an excellent solution provider by operating from our strengths, then our value consistently increases until we can go from where we are to where we want to be. Some of the best advice in the world seems to run counter to what everyone believes and does. We drive hard to achieve our personal definition of success, typically overlooking the fact that our success is tied to our value. If we were to focus on becoming more valuable, the effort would reflect in our bank accounts. When we focus on what we are creating, building, developing, learning, and improving, we find that our days are much more fulfilling and the connections we make with people are far more fruitful. It's uplifting to meet people who believe as we believe and are willing to walk with us on the path to purpose-based profitability, because the truth is, money accrues to those who create. Now, the reason we fall victim to chasing money is because we are taught at an early age that it's the profession that pays. We are advised to become a doctor or a lawyer or a professional athlete because those are the people who make the most money. We are discouraged from becoming a starving artist or taking up a trade. Schools budget for science, technology, engineering, and math, but not for music. In our youth, when we have the most to gain because all doors are open, we are not helped to identify our unique talent or taught how to use our personal value to serve the community in an innovative way. Parents are afraid to see their children struggle, so they do the best they can to steer them onto a path of safety and security. That's commendable, but in some cases, it's crippling. We are told that the best life strategy is to get a degree and then get a job. Once we pay our bills, then we can seek fulfillment on the weekends. And that's what we've done. But studies show that 70% of people are unhappy in their jobs, and 70% of people with a degree are working in a field unrelated to their course of study. When someone is unhappy in their job, it only takes a brief conversation to realize that every opportunity they've ever had to be creative has been crushed. People are unhappy when they are unable to express their talent and when they are prevented from using their personal value to realize results. If that is your challenge and you have a desire to change, I caution you, it's not for the faint of heart. And if you are unaware of how to purposefully proceed, you may find yourself suffering the same fate as a lottery winner. If you do decide that life is not worth living under your current conditions, consider the following approach and continue to listen to the Purposefully Profitable Podcast. First, you need to reconnect with your talent. Once upon a time, you knew what it was, but perhaps it has been so long that you have forgotten. Talent is born into you and represents what you do naturally. Skills can be learned, but there is only so much you can do without talent. In the search to reconnect with your talent, think about the things you choose to do when you have a choice. Think about the times when you help someone and enjoy every single minute of it. Think about the things you do for which you are unwilling to accept pay because it was so easy. Think about what people praise you for doing. Think about the things you did that made you smile when you were a child. That is your talent. Once you've reconnected with it, do not ever again undervalue it. It's precious. Now, you have permission to become obsessed. Love is a powerful force and will accelerate you to excellence. How will anyone compete with you when you love what you do? How will they compete on the task at which they are working while you are playing? How will they compete with you when the mere thought of doing what you do sets you abuzz with energy, while the same level of effort drains their resolve? And who would you rather hire? Someone who loves what they do or someone who does it for the money? Let me take a moment for another word of caution. You will need to modify your life strategy if you are to change your direction. And you may need to learn a lot more than you know now, but without this true type of passion, there is no point in proceeding. Albert Einstein, who provided us with today's quote, is recognized as a genius. What he was obsessed. Obsession has a negative connotation, of course, because once again, we are advised to be well-rounded and balanced. We are advised to not put all of our eggs in one basket. But I'm offering you a new perspective. Identify your talent. Learn how to use it to relieve someone's pain and become obsessed with achieving excellence. Attract people who believe what you believe and unleash your creativity. Obsession doesn't mean hiding yourself away in a small room, forgoing social activity, or speaking of nothing else ever again except your work. It simply means learning relentlessly, believing intensely, and performing excellently. For the person who has found their way, this is not painful. It is exhilarating. As we close this podcast, I have one last point. When you know that you have value, you are never worried about being a victim. Copycats and fast followers can never overtake you unless you stop moving forward. As soon as you start looking around and worrying about protecting your creation, you begin to lose your way. Continue to drive hard toward becoming the best in the world at what you do best. Here are today's key points in summary. 1. Today's quote. Albert Einstein said, "Try not to become a man of success, but rather try to become a man of value." 2. Set your goals to become the best in the world at what you do best. 3. To be a millionaire, become a person who can consistently deliver $1 million worth of value. 4. Put your effort into delivering higher quality products and services. 5. Always remember that money accrues to those who create. This has been Words of Wisdom Wednesday with your host, the Profitability Professor, Russ Barnes. Tune in tomorrow for Teach Yourself Thursday, where we offer resources that you can use to build yourself into a more savvy business owner. If you have questions or feedback, please forward them to russ@systro.org. We would love to hear from you. Subscribe to the Purposefully Profitable Podcast today so that you will not miss a single episode, and thank you for listening.